down in Langdon, North Dakota, joined by Dr. Kirk Howitt of North Dakota State University. And Kirk, wild oats, of course, we have resistance to several modes of action in wild oats already. So if glyphosate resistance were to come to wild oats, that would obviously be a major concern for growers.
It definitely would be, because it would be the first example of grass resistant to wild oat in our area. You know, we've been dealing with kochia and water hemp and common ragweed and mare's tail. So these other plants are all broadleaf plants. And so in addition to the glyphosate, farmers are putting in some other broadleaf product to help control those. Well, if we have then a grass that becomes resistant, now in addition to the glyphosate, which they're still probably going to want to use, and a little bit of broadleaf product for those other plants, now they have to put in an additional product for the wild oat control. It becomes a very expensive herbicide program.
Mm-hmm. Now, there have been some suspicious cases in North Dakota, but no confirmed instances of glyphosate resistance in wild oats?
That is right. We have heard anecdotal information from a few different locations. We were able to receive seed from about 3 or 4 different locations in North Dakota and Minnesota where they had concerns because the plants produced seed in the field. But in the greenhouse work that we've done with them so far, they are not any different from the susceptibles that we have in our seed lots. So at this point there is no confirmed resistance cases still, but it is with the wild oat or green foxtail, those are a couple that we are keeping an eye out for. We're very interested when people have those anecdotal stories, because we feel that they would be a couple of candidate plants where it might show up first.
Can you expand on that? Why you think they could be the next ones to fall?
These plants, especially the wild oat, we have many areas that already have had plants develop resistance to group 1 or group 2 herbicides. And we're now seeing some of the field locations where there are biotypes resistant to group 1 and group 2 herbicides. Not within the same plant, but in order to control the whole population in the field, we're spraying full rates of 2 products sequentially to get the best activity on these populations already. And so since we already have these plants, these species that have demonstrated the ability to generate and develop resistance to herbicides, and they are weeds that we have been dealing with for decades, and ever since the beginning of production agriculture, we're fighting these weed species. They are definitely creating concern for us.
So what are steps that growers can take to prevent this from happening? This comes back to that whole rotation and diversity message that we talk about when it comes to managing against resistance.
Yes, diversity, and that diversity message seems to be getting stronger from all over the world. And it's really nice that it seems to be a fairly consistent message. We want to use full rates of herbicides. We don't expect people are going to get away from herbicides, but diversifying, keeping the crop system diversified so that the herbicide selection can be diversified, and still considering the benefits from competitive crops, for instance, something like wheat or barley, very competitive crop, and can help manage and prevent seed production in any escapes that happen to occur in a field. So keeping everything diversified, but then also realizing and understanding the sites of action differences with the herbicides. We want to continue that message with our growers so that they understand that just because it's a different trade name doesn't mean that it's a different mode of action or even a different active ingredient. We have multiple products that have the same active ingredient. So you need to be a little bit more comfortable with the information on the labels.
All right. Well, thanks for your time, Kirk.
You're welcome.